Hello, everyone. Enjoy these relaxing moments while you watch. Sarah rushed out of her tiny apartment holding Jake tightly in her arms. The little 2-year-old boy was burning up like fire, his small body trembling with violent convulsions. Hang in there, baby. I'm taking you to the hospital right now, Sarah panted, her vision blurred with tears. Mercy General Hospital appeared ahead, a grand, magnificent building renowned for its high-end medical services. Sarah dashed into the emergency area, shouting, "Help me! My son is having seizures. He has a very high fever, please." She hurried to the reception desk where a blonde staff member wearing a name tag that read, Lisa, looked up at her with indifferent eyes. "Do you have an appointment?" Lisa asked, her tone flat like a machine. "Appointment, my son has a high fever. He needs emergency care right now," Sarah screamed in desperation. "You need to fill out this form first." Lisa pushed a stack of papers toward Sarah, her voice still void of any emotion. "Oh my God, please, my son can't wait. He's shaking like this." Sarah grabbed Lisa's arm, but she immediately shook it off, her expression annoyed. "We have procedures, ma'am. If you don't follow them, there's nothing I can do." A voice sounded from behind. "What's all this noise about?" A middle-aged man in a neatly pressed white lab coat approached. His hair was slicked back and a name tag on his chest read Dr. Daniel Thompson. "Doctor, please, my son has a very high fever. He needs emergency care right now," Sarah sobbed, holding Jake tightly in her arms. Dr. Thompson glanced at the little boy, frowning slightly. "Take him to the exam room, but hurry. I don't have much time." Finally, Jake was taken into the emergency room. Sarah let out a sigh of relief, but her heart was still clenched in fear. Dr. Thompson stood with his arms crossed, glancing at Jake, who was gasping for breath on the hospital bed. "Temperature?" he asked. "It's over 104 degrees Rien," a young nurse, Emily, quickly replied. Dr. Thompson only gave the boy a few seconds of his attention, not bothering to check carefully. He turned to Sarah, his voice harsh. "Does the boy have any medical history?" "No. He's completely healthy. Please, doctor, do something." "He's very weak," Sarah choked out. Dr. Thompson shrugged. "Nothing serious, just a common high fever." He turned to Nurse Linda, a middle-aged woman with a kind but worried face. "Give him an antipyretic injection quickly." Linda frowned. "Doctor, we haven't done any blood tests yet. What if the boy has an allergic reaction?" Dr. Thompson scoffed. "Are you trying to teach me how to do my job, Linda? Give the injection." Sarah clutched her son's hand tightly. "Wait, no tests at all? What if something goes wrong?" Dr. Thompson sighed in exasperation. "Listen, I've examined him. It's nothing serious. Do you want to save your son or argue with me?" Sarah froze. She couldn't bear to watch Jake continue, convulsing. "Please, as long as it helps my son," she whispered. Linda bit her lip, hesitated for a moment, then picked up the vial of medicine. Dr. Thompson gave it a quick glance and nodded. "Do it." Linda carefully inserted the needle into Jake's. "Bruni, you'll be okay, sweetie. Be brave," Linda whispered, but her heart was uneasy. The moment the medicine was injected, Jake suddenly jerked violently. His little body shook uncontrollably. His eyes rolled back and his breathing became erratic. "Doctor, what's happening?" Sarah screamed, her face pale as a sheet. Linda turned, ashen, staring at the vial in her hand. "This can't be. It can't be." Dr. Thompson took a step back, his expression momentarily confused, but he quickly regained his composure. "The boy must have an underlying condition. We've done everything we can." "What are you saying? My son is dying right in front of you," Sarah screamed. Emily rushed over to check Jake's heartbeat. "His heart is weakening fast. We need to defibrillate." "Immediately." Linda scrambled to prepare the equipment, but Dr. Thompson held up his hands to stop her. "No, we're not sure his body can handle the shock." Sarah couldn't believe what she was hearing. "What are you talking about? Save my son right now, doctor. If we don't do something, the boy will—" "Enough!" Dr. Thompson cut her off. "If he doesn't make it, it's not my fault." The entire emergency room fell silent. Linda stared at her chief doctor, stunned. Emily shook her head, clenching her fists tightly. Doctor, this isn't the first time you've done this. Emily pressed her lips together, too afraid to speak further. Doctor. Thompson spun around abruptly. What did you just say? Emily swallowed hard, her eyes turning toward Sarah, the desperate mother clutching her child tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. Jake, baby, wake up, please. The heart monitor emitted faint beeping sounds, signaling the boy's fragile grasp on life. Linda's fingers tightened around the vial of medicine, her heart pounding as she realized the horrifying truth. Oh my God, Dr. Thompson, you… Dr. Thompson shot her a deadly glare, signaling her to stay silent. No one says a word. Do you understand me, Linda? Linda stood frozen. Sarah suddenly lunged forward, grabbing Dr. Thompson by the collar, screaming in a frenzy. What did you do to my son? What did he ever do to deserve this? Dr. Thompson pried her hands off, his voice cold as ice. Get her out of here now. Datu Sao. Security guards burst into the room, roughly dragging Sarah away. No, my son is still in there, please. The emergency room door slammed shut. Sarah was left screaming and crying in the middle of the sterile hospital hallway. Inside, Linda bit down hard on her lip, her eyes filled with fury as she stared at Dr. Thompson. Sarah was dragged out into the corridor, her anguished cries echoing through the indifferent halls of Mercy General Hospital. The two guards, dressed in black uniforms, gripped her arms tightly, pulling her farther from the emergency room door. Let me go. My son is still in there. Please, I'm begging you. Sarah struggled violently, but the two large men didn't even flinch. Ma'am, you're causing a disturbance. If you don't calm down, we'll have to escort you off hospital property. One of the guards, Ethan, said coldly. Causing a disturbance? I'm a mother desperate to protect her child. Please, just let me stay with him. Ethan sighed, but his grip didn't loosen. There's nothing you can do. You should go home. Go home? Are you insane? My son is dying in there and you're telling me to go home. Sarah screamed, tears streaming down her cheeks. From inside the, emergency room, Dr. Thompson stood watching through the glass window. He sighed and rubbed his forehead as if annoyed by the disruption. Take her out of the hospital if you have to, he ordered. The guards nodded and pulled Sarah farther away. She struggled, but her desperation slowly turned to sheer terror as she realized no one here cared about her or Jake. Inside, Linda stood frozen, still holding the vial of medicine they had injected into Jake. Her hands trembled as she read the label. Muscle relaxant, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Emily turned toward her, his eyes wide. Dr. Thompson, he gave the wrong medication. It was supposed to be an antipyretic, not a relaxant. Oh God, I didn't double check. Linda squeezed the vial tightly, her chest tightening with guilt. Emily took a deep breath, his eyes filled with horror. We have to do something. Dr. Thompson spun around, his cold gaze sharp as a blade. No one says anything, Linda. Linda glared at him with pure hatred. Dr. Thompson, do you even understand what you've done? That boy could… Dr. Thompson raised his hand to silence her. I know exactly what I've done, Linda. But if you say a word, your career ends here and now. Linda clenched her fists, but Emily gently tugged at her arm, shaking his head. We can't let this be covered up, Emily said. Doctor. Thompson stared at both of them, his voice dropping lower, each word deliberate and threatening. You think the words of two insignificant nurses are going to carry more weight than mine? I'm the chief physician of this hospital. If you want to keep your jobs, keep your mouth shut. Emily's hands clenched into fists. So what's your plan? Pretend nothing happened? Dr. Thompson crossed his arms and shrugged. If the boy dies, we'll report the cause of death as complications from a high fever. No one can prove otherwise. Linda shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. You're disgusting. It's a shame you feel that way, Dr. Thompson said casually. Now get back to work. I don't want to see a single tear in this emergency room. Sarah collapsed onto a waiting room chair, her trembling hands clutching her cell phone in desperation. She dialed the emergency number. Hello, I need to report a crime. My son is in danger. The doctor, he injected the wrong medication and now they won't save him. On the other end of the line, a calm voice from the dispatcher replied, I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is an internal matter of the hospital. If you wish to file a complaint, please submit a formal request to the medical regulatory authority. No, they're killing my son right now. You have to do something. Do you have any evidence? Sarah froze. Evidence. All she had was her word. You can go to the police station to file a report, but without evidence, the police can't interfere with medical procedures. Sarah felt as if all the air had been sucked from her lungs. She hung up the phone, her hands trembling. No, this can't be happening. Suddenly, a soft voice came from beside her. Sarah. She turned her head. It was Linda. The nurse's eyes filled with worry, her hands gripping a small cloth so tightly her knuckles had turned white. Linda, please save my son. I know he did something wrong. I know he's hiding something. Linda pressed her lips together, lowering her head. I don't know what to do. I'm just a nurse. Dr. Thompson has so much power. If I accuse him, my career... Your career? My son's life is more important than your job, Sarah screamed, tears streaming down her face. Linda took a step back, fear flashing in her eyes. Linda, I'm begging you, Sarah pleaded. Linda clenched her fists, but before she could say anything more, Dr. Thompson's voice rang out from down the hall. Linda, what are you doing over there? Linda froze. Dr. Thompson approached, his cold eyes sharp as ice. Get back to work and keep your mouth shut. Linda glanced at Sarah, guilt filling her gaze. Then she turned around and walked straight back. Into the hospital. Sarah watched her go, feeling as though her heart was being crushed. No, this can't be happening. She looked down at the phone in her hand. If no one was going to help her, she would fight on her own, even if it cost her everything. She would expose the truth. Sarah felt as if her world was collapsing. She slid down onto the hospital floor, her head spinning. She couldn't believe that a luxury hospital like Mercy General could be a place that would so readily kill a child and cover up their crimes. She looked toward the emergency room door. Jake was still in there. What could she do? Suddenly, a voice spoke beside her. Sarah turned. In front of her stood a middle-aged woman with curly brown hair, a kind face but tension clear in her eyes. Who are you? Sarah asked, her voice hoarse. I'm Victoria Carter, a former patient of Mercy General Hospital. Sarah stared at the woman in front of her, tears still glistening in her eyes. What do you want? Victoria took a deep breath. I was once in your shoes. Dr. Thompson did something wrong to my child, too. Sarah blinked, her heart tightening. What are you saying? Victoria clenched both hands, her voice shaking with anger. My son, James, he died because of Dr. Thompson. He gave him the wrong medication, too, but I didn't have proof. I screamed. I filed lawsuits, but no one believed me. They kicked me out of the hospital, destroyed my son's medical records, and said it was a natural complication. Sarah felt a chill race down her spine. Oh, God, she whispered. Victoria lowered her head, her voice bitter. I lost my son, and I couldn't do anything. I don't want you to end up like me. If you want to fight, I'll help you. Sarah clenched her hands tightly. Do you have any evidence? Victoria shook her head. I don't, but I know someone who does. Sarah leaned in, her eyes flashing with a faint glimmer of hope. Who? Victoria bit her lip. A nurse named Sam Peterson. He used to work under Dr. Thompson, but left after a scandal. I heard he kept some documents about Dr. Thompson's misconduct. Sarah nodded firmly. I have to find him. I won't let my son become another James. Victoria gripped her hand tightly. You're not alone. I'll help you. Inside the emergency room, Linda stared at Jake, his tiny body still lying motionless, his breathing weak. We can't just leave him like this, Emily whispered beside her. I know. Linda bit her lip. The door swung open. Dr. Thompson walked in, both hands in his lab coat pockets, his eyes cold as ice. Still alive, huh? He sneered, his voice chilling to the bone. Linda spun around. What the hell are you saying? This is a child, Dr. Thompson, a 2-year-old boy. Don't you have any humanity left? Dr. Thompson shrugged. You're too sentimental, Linda. I already told you if he doesn't make it, it's not my fault. We can save him. Emily said, his voice full of anger. "We just need to pump his stomach and administer the antidote." Dr. Thompson narrowed his eyes, slowly walking toward Emily. "You want to lose your job?" he asked, his voice soft but dripping with threat. Emily clenched his teeth. "If I have to choose between my job and the life of a child, I'll choose the child's life." Linda took a deep breath, tightening her fists. "So will I." Dr. Thompson stared hard at the two of them before letting out a low chuckle. "What a shame. I think you've both just signed your termination papers." He turned around and walked toward the door, but just before leaving, he spoke again, his voice making Linda freeze in place. "And remember, Linda, if you say one word to the boy's mother, I'll make sure you'll never work in any hospital again." The door closed behind him. Linda and Emily exchanged glances. "What do we do now?" Emily asked, his voice shaking slightly. Linda took another deep breath, her eyes full of determination. "We have to help Jake before it's too late." Sarah stood in front of an old apartment building, the cold wind whistling through the cracks in the walls. Victoria pointed toward an apartment on the 3rd floor. "Sam lives there." Sarah took a deep breath. "Thank you, Victoria." Victoria grabbed her hand, her voice thick with worry. "Be careful, Sam isn't easy to talk to. Dr. Thompson ruined his life once. He's terrified of getting involved in this again." Sarah nodded. She climbed the stairs, her heart pounding hard in her chest. She knocked 3 times on the door. No answer. She knocked again, harder this time. "Sam Peterson, I'm Sarah. I need to talk to you." Still silence. Sarah let out a shaky breath and turned toward Victoria. But suddenly the door cracked open just a little. An anxious eye peeked out through the gap. "Who are you?" a rough male voice asked. "Sarah Mitchell. I need your help. My son was hurt by Dr. Thompson." Sam froze. "I don't know what you're talking about. Go away." Sarah stuck her foot in the door before he could shut it. "Sam, please. My son is only 2 years old. He can't die in vain like so many other children." Sam stared at her, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. I can't help you. Dr. Thompson has too much power. If he finds out I helped you, I'm finished." Victoria stepped forward. "Do you think living in fear for the rest of your life is easier? How many children have to die because of him? How many could you save by speaking up?" Sam clenched his fists tightly. "You don't understand," he muttered. Sarah met his gaze. "And I have a son who's dying. You help me or I'll have to fight this on my own." The air grew heavy with tension. Sam took a deep, shaking breath, then turned back into the apartment. When he returned, he held a thick stack of documents in his hands. "These files contain proof of Dr. Thompson's misconduct. But be careful, he won't let you walk away with this." Sarah took them, her heart pounding wildly. "Oh my God, thank you, Sam." Sam gave a small nod, his expression filled with worry. "Get out of here and don't come back." Sarah clutched the documents to her chest. The fight was only beginning. Sarah held the documents tightly, her heart beating so hard she thought it might explode at any moment. She and Victoria hurried out of the building, their legs shaky with fear and adrenaline. "What do we do next?" Victoria asked, her eyes darting around nervously as if someone might be watching them. Sarah swallowed hard. "We need a lawyer, someone who can help us bring this case to light." Victoria thought for a moment, then nodded. "I know someone. Michael Bennett, a human rights lawyer. He helped me once when I tried to sue the hospital, but without evidence, the case was thrown out." Sarah tightened her grip on the files. "Now we have evidence." Michael Bennett's office was tucked away on a quiet street, hidden behind the towering skyscrapers of New York City. When Sarah and Victoria walked in, they saw a middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair wearing a perfectly tailored black suit. He looked up from his desk, his sharp eyes flickering over the two women. "Victoria," he raised an eyebrow. "I didn't think I'd see you back here." Victoria took a deep breath. "I don't have a choice, Michael. We need your help." Michael crossed his arms and leaned back in his chair. "Last time you came to me with no evidence. I did everything I could, but there was nothing to work with. What about now?" Sarah placed the thick folder on his desk, her gaze unwavering. "This time we have proof. These are all the documents I gathered on Dr. Thompson. Michael flipped open the file and skimmed a few pages. Within seconds, his expression turned ice cold. "Oh my God," he whispered. "If what's in here is true, then Dr. Thompson isn't just making mistakes. He's committing mass murder." Sarah clenched her fists. "Can you help me, Michael?" Michael was silent for a few seconds. Then he nodded. "Yes, but you need to understand something. Dr. Thompson isn't an ordinary doctor. He has deep connections with powerful people. If we go after him, he'll strike back hard." "I don't care," Sarah said, her voice unwavering. "I want justice for my son." Michael gave a slight shrug. "Then let's get started. But first, we need a witness." Sarah glanced at Victoria, then slowly nodded. "I know someone who can help." Linda hurried into the staff break room, her hands shaking as she tried to pour herself a glass of water. Emily followed close behind, his face pale. "We can't just stand by and watch," Emily said, his voice tight with anger. Linda slammed the glass down on the table. "And what do you think we can do? You've seen how Dr. Thompson manipulates everyone. Who's going to believe us?" Emily clenched his fists. "I don't know, but I do know one thing. If we don't do something, that boy will die, and he won't be the last. There will be more." Linda closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. Both of them turned. Sarah was standing in the doorway, her eyes burning with determination. "Sarah, how did you get in here?" Linda asked quickly. "That doesn't matter," Sarah said. "I need your help. I know you want to do the right thing." Linda glanced around nervously, then shut the door. I can't. If Dr. Thompson finds out, I'll lose my job." Sarah stepped forward, her voice pleading. "Linda, my son is going to die. You became a nurse to save lives, didn't you? Then save him." Linda swallowed hard, her eyes wavering. Emily spoke up suddenly, his voice firm. "I'll do it." Linda turned sharply. "Emily, no. You're young. You have your whole career ahead of you." Emily shrugged. "And I won't be able to live with myself if I let a child die because I stayed silent." Linda shut her eyes tightly, her fists trembling. Finally, she opened them and looked directly at Sarah. "All right, I'll help you. But we have to be very careful." The three of them stepped out into the hospital corridor. Emily quickly glanced around to make sure no one was watching. Sarah whispered, "We need a way to get more evidence. Dr. Thompson won't go down easily." Emily thought for a moment, then said, "We could record him. If we can get a video of him taking a bribe or admitting to what he did, we could use it against him." Linda frowned. "But how do we get him to slip up?" Sarah bit her lip. "I'll pretend. I want to make a deal with him." Both Linda and Emily stared at her in shock. "What?" Linda blurted. "Are you insane? Dr. Thompson isn't someone you can play games with." Sarah shrugged. "I don't have a choice." Emily shook his head. "No, if you do that, you'll be walking right into danger. We need a better plan." Sarah clenched her fists. "We don't have time. If we don't act now, Dr. Thompson will erase every piece of evidence." Linda took a deep breath. "Then at least let me help you prepare. You'll need a good recording device and a reason convincing enough to get him to talk." Sarah nodded. "Then let's get started." Sarah sat in her small apartment staring at her phone. She was about to confront the man who had destroyed her life and her son's. Suddenly the phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. "You're playing with fire, Sarah. If you keep going, you'll pay the price. Leave New York City before it's too late." Sarah felt her chest tighten, but she wasn't afraid. She deleted the message and took a deep breath. No matter what happened. Next, she was ready. The fight had only just begun. Sarah sat in the darkness, staring at the threatening message on her phone screen. "You're playing with fire, Sarah. If you keep going, you'll pay the price. Leave New York City before it's too late." A shiver ran down her spine. Someone was watching her. She jumped up and yanked the curtain shut. Her tiny apartment suddenly felt suffocating. She gripped the phone tightly, her mind racing with thoughts. Then came a knock at the door. Sarah's heart leapt into her throat. "Who is it?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It's me, Victoria." Sarah rushed to open the door. Seeing Victoria standing there, she let out a breath of relief. Come in, hurry. Victoria stepped inside, her eyes full of worry. What happened? Sarah held out her phone. I got a threatening message. Someone doesn't want me to keep digging. Victoria clenched her fists. He knows you're after justice. Sarah nodded. I can't back down now, I have to keep going. Victoria looked at her for a moment, then spoke slowly. I won't let you fight this alone. Sarah felt her eyes sting. She reached out and gripped Victoria's hand, gratitude flooding through her chest. We won't stop. Linda and Emily sat across from each other, the air in the room thick with tension. Sarah's meeting with Dr. Thompson tomorrow, Linda said, worry heavy in her voice. Emily shook his head. I don't like this. Dr. Thompson's not stupid. If he suspects anything, she's in danger. Linda sighed. We don't have any other choice. Without hard evidence, he'll keep killing, and no one will be able to stop him. Emily bit his lip, then said, I'll try to help from the inside. I'll go through the medical records and see if there's anything suspicious. Linda nodded. I'll get the recording equipment ready. We can't let Sarah do this alone. Sarah sat on her bed, gripping Jake's tiny bracelet tightly in her hand. Outside the window, darkness swallowed New York City. Something didn't feel right. Suddenly, she heard a noise at the front door. Click. Sarah froze. Someone was trying to open her door. She stood quickly, her heart pounding in her chest. She ran to grab the kitchen knife, holding her breath as she listened. Click, click. The door rattled softly. Sarah swallowed hard, her hands shaking. She raised the knife, ready to defend herself. Suddenly, a voice came from the other side. Sarah, open up. She felt the blood drain from her face. That voice, it's me, Sam. Sarah frowned. Why was he here at this hour? She hesitated for a moment, then slowly opened the door a crack. Sam Peterson stood there, his face tight with tension. Sam, what are you doing here? He looked around quickly, then stepped inside and closed the door behind him. We have a problem, Sam said quickly. Dr. Thompson knows you have my files. Sarah froze. He knows. Sam nodded. I don't know how, but someone's been watching me tonight. I found my apartment had been searched. Sarah felt her heart leap into her throat. Then we don't have much time. Sam met her gaze. Sarah, you have to be careful. Dr. Thompson's a snake. He'll do anything to protect himself. Sarah took a deep breath, her eyes steady. I know that, but I'm not stopping. Sam sighed. Then I'll help you. I won't let another child die for no reason. Sarah clenched her fists. Thank you, Sam. I won't forget this. Sarah stepped into Dr. Thompson's office, a small recording device hidden inside her coat pocket. Dr. Thompson sat behind his desk, arms crossed as he watched her. Sarah Mitchell, he said slowly. I didn't think you'd dare come back here. Sarah swallowed hard but kept her composure. I want to talk. Dr. Thompson gave a cold smile. About what? Sarah stared straight into his eyes. I want to make a deal. Dr. Thompson raised an eyebrow. Oh, what kind of deal are you proposing? Sarah took a deep breath. I know what you've done. I have proof. But I don't want to take this too far. Dr. Thompson rested his chin on his hand, his eyes glinting with something dangerous. And what do you want?